Welcome back to the Graham Stephan Show. My name is Graham, and welcome to my show. And today we're going to be speaking with Jamie, who's 30 years old with a net worth of about $750,000, who wants to talk about and share his real estate investing experience with all of his friends, but doesn't want to come off as an asshole and a douchebag who's just like bragging to his friends. And he wants to get them into real estate and wants to offer his advice, but how to do that in a very tactful way without coming off as just being a prick. So with that said, let's bring him on the show and see what it's all about. So, Jamie, welcome to the Graham Stephan Show. What's going on?
Hey, Graham. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, thanks for being on. What's going on?
Well, not much. I just wanted to call and get your advice because I think you do a really good job about talking about real estate without coming across as arrogant or douchey. And I think I'm at a similar stage of life as you, and I have friends who I'd love to share my passion with real estate about, and I just feel like, if I were to share numbers and talk about, the nitty-gritty, that I might come across as, maybe arrogant or just like totally unrelatable to their situation and what they're going through, Yeah, I guess my question is, how do you talk with your peers or just anyone about real estate without sounding, arrogant?
Yeah. Usually I can tend to gauge the interest of my friends. Like I know some of my friends, by the way, watch my videos. I'm sure there's a few of you guys out there that watch them consistently. I can usually gauge my friends if they have an interest in it. I have some friends that just don't have an interest in real estate. They don't have an interest in credit cards. I start talking about this stuff and you can tell they just start like zoning out. They start checking out. And I could tell like, okay, that's my cue to shut up. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. They're not interested. That's fine. We're friends. And I can kind of gauge that. I think you just need to use just some common sense to determine really if these are friends that at all would be receptive to what you have to say in terms of that. In terms of sounding like arrogant when you say stuff like this, that's been something that I've always been concerned about. Even here on YouTube, there's such a fine line between saying, here's how much money I just made, and being like, yo guys, here's how much money I just made. There's it's such a subtlety between the two, and there's such a fine line. That's why I always get really, really, really like nervous and kind of overcautious anytime I make the videos, be like revealing my 6 income sources and like how much money I made in April on YouTube, like stuff like that, because it can go so wrong. Overall, though, I would say more than on average, I would say probably 80% of the time, as long as you share it with excitement and you add some sort of value to what you're saying, people they're not going to think you're like a douche for like talking about how much money you make, and they're not going to think you're arrogant. I think a lot of that is just in your head, because you would think, well, if I heard this, depending, from this sort of person, it would sound kind of douchey, and it does. It's funny, I mean, I do see some, I don't want to call anybody out, but there are some people in social media, I'm not going to say where, that just are so arrogant. They're so arrogant. And you guys, like, I'm never going to call anyone out here, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Like, there are certain people on social media, the whole, entrepreneurs who just flaunt nonstop. And, like, that's, and it's never adding any value. Like, they never really tell you how they make their money. It's just, here's 20 grand right now in my hand. Let's hustle today, guys. Let's wake up at 5 a.m. and hustle. Here's 20 grand and slam it down, and watches and cars and all. I have a feeling with you and your friends, it's going to be a different situation. I would feel it out a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I understand it. Like, for me, it comes, from a place of wanting to help them out, because I feel like, from my perspective, why wouldn't you want to invest in real estate? And I just get a lot of enjoyment and excitement out of it, and it's been able to get me just financially to a place where I never thought I'd be able to. And so, but yeah, I understand why people online do it as a way to establish credibility. And, sometimes I wonder, with my friends, maybe if I did tell them, exact numbers and things like that, they would have more of an interest in what I had to say. So
they could. I would feel it. I mean, if they're your friends, I would be probably inclined to want to help them out. I mean, that's just me. And then you could tell very quickly if you start talking about this. If they're not interested, I would drop it. If they're interested and they want to learn more, then I would go for it. Like what I usually do is I just share my excitement about something. If I'm really into something, I'll talk about it. If the other person, I can tell they're not into it, I'm just going to drop it. I'm not going to go into a topic that they don't find interesting. So that's usually how I feel it out. Now, the other thing is that I have found that you cannot get someone interested if they're just not interested. Like sometimes you could lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And that is very true when it comes to finance and getting your finances right. Some people just don't care and they don't want to fix it. And they would rather just feel comfortable and complain about how bad their life is and how much they hate their job, but they'll never actually do anything about it. And that's the thing. It's like you can only help somebody so much before you're just wasting your time, unfortunately. And that's a lot of people. A lot of people just find it easier to do nothing. It's more comfortable for them just not to try. So you really got to feel it out with your friends.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, everyone should house hack and everyone should, make the sacrifices now so that they can, be free from, the job they hate or whatever, just like you said. So
I agree with you.
It's a tough balance.
I agree with you. I would put the information out there, and if they want to know more, you guys are friends, and you can help them out from there. I would throw it out there and just see if they're receptive to it, and if so, you have your answer, and if not, then you also have your answer.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess part of it is just getting over the fear of like, having them think differently of me or like, something like that. Because I try to fly under the radar with that kind of stuff just because I don't want to, be flashy or, seem arrogant. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've always tried to be a little bit more on like the humble side a little bit, but there's a fine balance. I think there's a difference between offering some help or offering some value to someone else and just like flaunting what you have. Big difference between the two, just as long as you don't flaunt. It's like, hey guys, look how much money I made today. Here check that out. like that's different than being like, hey guys, so I bought this property and it went really well, and start talking about it in just in an excited way. How do you get started, by the way, investing in real estate?
Yeah, that's a great question. So about 5.5 years ago, my wife and I bought our first house, and we had started a wedding photography business that was going really well. So we had met this guy who was kind of a mentor, but also a realtor and a contractor. So he was kind of the whole package, and he helped us get started using equity in our own home and also just the cash we had saved up from our business to dump into real estate. And, part of my luck, I guess you could say, with the real estate has been just kind of riding up the housing market and selling high, buying low, selling high, and I just dumped all the profits back into rental properties, and how I got to where I am today. So I definitely feel fortunate to have gotten started when I did.
That's amazing. That's awesome work, man. And you're how old? 30?
Yeah, turning 30 this month. So
happy early birthday.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I live in Midwest here, and things are a little different real estate wise than out where you are, but principles still hold strong.
Yeah.
So.
What's the cash on cash return you're getting on the rentals over there?
So like I said, I kind of rode the real estate market up. So most of the properties I own free and clear. So yeah, so when I got started, it was a real low barrier to entry, and it's what enabled us to get to how many properties we have now. So
cool. Well, very good, man. Well, let me know what happens with your friends, and I wouldn't be too concerned about it.
Okay. Yeah, will do. No, thanks for your advice. I really appreciate it.
You got it. Keep me posted. Let me know.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Graham.
Thanks. You got it. Bye. So with that said, just a quick mention here. For anyone who does want to be on the Graham Stephan Show, we have all the information in the description if you want to email us in with your situation, potentially take a call like this and be posted on the YouTubes. Again, all the information is in the description. Now, make sure to always, no matter what, smash that like button. Always make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And lastly, my one favor, if I ask any favor from you guys, make sure to hit the notification bell so YouTube notifies you anytime I post a video. I'm posting it. We're going to eventually scale up to every single day on this channel. So that's the goal. We're working our way up to that. So if you want to be prepared for that, just hit the notification bell. And with that said, thank you again for watching. Until next time.